Yeah, I had a chronic condition called osteoarthritis in my shoulder, and it was caused by an injury that occurred some time ago. So with time, because my shoulder was trying to tell me not to do the extended range of motion, I had extensive bone spurs on the joint, as well as the cartilage had worn away, so it was becoming very painful and also a very limited range of motion. It all came to a head when I tried to paint my house 2 summers ago. And of course I had to do, this kind of thing and using the range of motion and extension. And after the first day of painting my house, it was a disaster at the end of the day. I had pain all over my shoulders, in my neck, to the point where I just couldn't move anymore. So, and for years I was dealing with that pain, but that one event seemed to have really brought it to a point where I had to do something about it. So I educated myself in terms of the procedures that were out there. Of course, there is a total replacement of the shoulder. There also was another strategy or another operation that could be done. It was called total shoulder resurfacing. And when I started looking into that, I found that very few doctors really were involved in doing that kind of operation. And I found that it was done maybe decades ago, fell out of favor, but now there were some newer techniques that were involved in it, and I found that Dr. Kovack was really one of the only orthopedic surgeons in Ohio, if not in the eastern United States, that was skilled at doing this kind of operation. Dr. Kovack then went on to explain that he works with athletes, he works with situations and patients who don't want to have a total shoulder replacement surgery, that want to have full use of their shoulder, but don't want to go through a very invasive type of surgery that total shoulder replacement would involve. And I said, am I a candidate for you? And of course, at that time, I was 59, 60, so I had read in the literature that I was right on that borderline. And so after we talked and we had done the test, my health enabled me to be able to go through and have this different type of surgery. Other than I was so happy to find out that Dr. Kovack, he said, when can I schedule you? So I said I went ahead and got on his schedule probably within less than a month to have this done. Nothing is as good as your natural product. So I had in my glenoid joint, I had a transplant of cartilage. So instead of having a plastic implant in there, I now have cartilage, which is a natural material and is generally going to last much, much longer than any other artificial product that you can have and put into the joint. The head of the humerus then was also, had a lot of spurs and was also the cartilage that is on the tip of the humerus had worn away. So you had bone-on-bone interaction basically in that joint. So replacing the cartilage in the glenoid joint and then taking the tip of the humerus and shaving it down and replacing and putting a cap on it is now the new surface, if you will, and that's where the resurfacing comes. But you're cutting away all of the spurs that had occurred over time, and so now you've got a nice clean connection now in the resurfacing. The resurfacing offers the advantage of being less invasive, and the recuperation time is much accelerated. So you're not looking at 6 months, but really within 60 days, 45 days, I was doing very well. The other remarkable thing about the surgery is that it's outpatient. So I came in to the hospital at about 10 o'clock and was back at my house around 6 p.m. that evening. So sitting on my couch and with the special type of wound dressing that they had on it, I had expectations of being basically out of service for at least 90, if not longer than that. So to have and feel as good as I did, literally within 30 to 45 days after the surgery, to me was remarkable.
During the time that Dave was having the surgery, he was conducting a job search, and we were skeptical about, how long will it take to recover and all that. Well, within 30 days, he was interviewing. He basically just had his arm in a sling. You can adapt almost any kind of regular clothing to be able to get in and out of it. And he landed a position, and it in no way held him back. It's a matter of the surgery. Not only did it help the arm, psychologically it gave him the confidence to go forward and interview it in a very strong way and go forward and not backward. And that's so important to each of us, to feel very capable and that he can do what he does even better than he did before.